Well, Matt, the first thing is our philosophy has been from the time my staff and I arrived here is take it one day at a time, live in the present. There's nothing you can do about the past. The past is history. The future is a mystery. And that's why we call today the present, because it's the gift that you have to do the best that you can do today and just prepare to be the best you can be. And the best preparation for tomorrow is to be the best you can be today.
Go to Luke Cheney from the Miami Hurricane. Luke.
Hey, Coach. With Senior Day approaching, can you talk a little bit about how the senior class as a whole, and how they've helped lay the groundwork for a bright future for this program?
You know, we have such a unique combination of players in the senior class. We have Charlie Moore at the point, a transfer student who's at his fourth school. We've got Cam McGusty, a transfer from Oklahoma, who's been with us. Now he set out a year and now has played three additional years. So a lot of experience. Then we got Sam Wardenberg, who came as a freshman and gray shirted, didn't play at all that first from January to the end of that spring semester. And then you have Dan Gack, who set out his first year, then got injured his second and third year, and now is playing in his fifth year. And then Rodney Miller, who's now in his sixth year. He's like 24 years old. So, you know, it's a very eclectic group, great group of personalities, really good people. They all possess different skill sets, and they're great friends on and off the court. So it's been a pleasure to get to know them. It's been a pleasure being around them. And it's been very, very enjoyable to have the kind of season that we've had so far because we've enjoyed success as a team.
We'll go now to David Teal from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. David.
Jim, you and North Carolina are the only teams to beat Virginia Tech in the last 5 weeks. Beyond Charlie's shot from 47 feet, what did you take away from that game in Blacksburg as to the key why you guys were able to win?
All right, David, there's a lot of factors in putting together a game plan and then executing it to be successful against Virginia Tech. Start with their incredible ability to make threes. They're the number one 3-point percentage shooting team in the ACC. When we played them, they made a bunch of threes, but we were able to make 9 out of 17 ourselves. Carolina, I think, made 8. So even though you're not trying to match them 3 for 3, you can't have a bad 3-point shooting a game against them because they're going to make a bunch, and you've got to make your share to be in the game. Secondly, our success, whether it's against Virginia Tech or anybody else, has been able to score points off turnovers. And so we're going to have to do that tomorrow. We've got to put enough pressure on them, force enough turnovers that we can get into the open court and score before their defense gets set.
Go to Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Michelle.
Jim, I just want to ask about Cam's. He jammed his finger in the last game. I'm just wondering how he's doing. Is he fine? Is he totally ready for tomorrow?
Yes, I think he's fine.
Okay. And then I just want to ask one more. I've asked you before about Sam, but if you could just one more time, just what he's meant to this team, you know, going into senior day. He's one who's been here, like you said, from the beginning, from freshman year.
Well, our success this year can really be attributed to several different things that Sam Wardenberg does for us. Sam is a unique player for this program. He's 6'10", but he's a big man that can shoot the three, but doesn't post up. He's a big man that handles the ball on the perimeter a lot. He's a big guy that can drive the ball to the basket. He's also someone at the defensive end of the floor that can guard a big post player because he's so active and fronting and denying and straddling, but he's also capable of really helping great on ball screens. And in today's game, because of the three-point shooting ability, you have to have your bigs be able to get out onto the perimeter. And Sam is probably the best we've had since Kamari Murphy and Tanya Jakiri. Those two guys were great at helping their teammates. Sam Wardenberg falls into that same category. So the combination of being such a good teammate offensively, share the ball, move the ball, handle the ball, make some threes, drive to the basket, and then his ability to defend all different kinds of players and help his teammates defensively has really made him an incredible contributor to our success this year.
Thank you.
Go to Brian Kanzer from category 5. Brian.
Hey, Coach, just one question for you. Can you just talk a little bit about if you have any sort of kind of message for all the students and fans this weekend in terms of trying to feed off the home court energy on a big day like senior day against a great team like Virginia Tech?
Yeah, we are so appreciative of the support that this team has gotten this season in particular, because after COVID, people, were not coming to games. The arena was empty, and there was no energy or electricity created because there were just no fans there. Fans are a big part of college athletics, and especially basketball, which is indoors, and in our case, a very mid-size arena. And when our pep band is there playing the music and our students are packed the place and they're jumping up and down and creating an exciting atmosphere, then all the fans, all the Hurricane fans who are in the arena, they get into the game, and that kind of energy helps our players play with a great deal of energy and effort. And, we can't do it without the fans. They're a big, big part of our success.
Or Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris.
Coach, do you have any memories of Rick Barry when he either played at Miami, or just your thoughts on him as a player as a whole?
Rick Barry? Yeah, I got a lot of memories of Rick Barry. So what one do you want to hear? When I was in high school, Rick Barry was a star here at the University of Miami, led the Hurricanes in scoring. I think he led the nation in scoring. I followed his career in the NBA and the ABA. He's one of the greatest players of all time. And then I got to know Rick personally when we recruited his sons. And then when he was a camper at the Dwayne Wade fantasy camp. And Rick he wasn't a camper, he was a coach. And I was the commissioner of the camp for D Wade. And Rick wanted to tell me what to do as commissioner. And I told him that was not his role. My role was to tell him what to do as a coach, not the coach to tell me what to do as a commissioner.
And if you could just add again the type of player he was for those that didn't get a chance to see him.
Well, let me put it this way. Anybody who has not seen Rick Barry play either in person or on TV missed one of the greatest scorers in basketball history. He was extremely fast, extremely skilled. I'm trying to think of somebody that we have today that was like him. He was great at getting to the foul line. He was a tremendous free throw shooter, shot underhand. Who do we have? Who are the great scorers in the game? Kind of skinny. He was not big and bulky. He's kind of streamlined. Anybody got any comparisons that you can think of? David Teal, you must know somebody.
Do he remind you of Klay Thompson at all?
No, no. Klay Thompson is a shooter. Rick Barry was a
As
scorer.
a scorer.
He took the ball to the basket. He had a great assortment of layups. He knew how to draw fouls, and he could shoot, of course, but he was much more of a scorer than just a shooter.
Anything like Kevin Durant or Grant Hill at all?
Well, no, more like a Chris Mullin. I don't know if you guys remember, Chris Mullin was kind of a left-handed version of Rick Barry. Yeah, Chris, I can't really help you that well with that one. If I think about it, I'll text it to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll go back to Brian Kanzer. Brian.
Hey, Coach, just one last question for you. You've talked a lot about, throughout the past few months and throughout the season about how this season's really like a marathon and not a sprint. Can you just talk a little bit more about how it feels to be inching, closer and closer to being in the March Madness tournament and also getting ready for the ACC tournament?
Well, when a marathon begins, there are a lot of runners, right? To win the marathon, you've got to be at your best at the start, then sustain it in the middle, and then pick it up at the end. And we're in the last 3 miles of the marathon. And our next mile is going to be hugely important. It sets the stage for the last 2. So tomorrow is a huge game. We have to bring the energy and sustain our effort from start to finish.
We got time for one more. Dave Hyde, you just jumped on. You had a question for Coach L, right?
Yeah. Appreciate it. Can you hear me or not?
Hi, Dave.
Got you,
Yeah,
Dave.
I see you.
Great. Hey, Coach, I know I've talked to you about this stuff before, but I do a column where I ask people one question, and you're usually pretty good at this. Is there anything you failed at that's led you to some success? Like, either you failed at something, had to work harder at something, or and that made you successful?
All right, Dave, let me answer it this way. I think everything you do, you should approach with, I want to get better. I want to improve. And you learn from trial and error. You try something. If it works, you keep trying to do it. If it fails, if it doesn't work, you try something else. And I'll use this season as an example. Back in the summertime, when we looked at our roster, we decided the way we'd been playing offense and defense in the past would not be successful for this team, because we were not as big and bulky as we had been previously. We didn't really have a go-to guy on the inside. So you go back in your own experiences. I've had very small teams in the past. My last year at Bowling Green and my first few years at George Mason, we were very small and fast. So by trial and error, we decided, okay, we're going to change our offense and go to a 5-out offense, no post player. And on defense, we're going to scramble a lot, trap, and try to force turnovers. So you learn from previous experiences, and some of those experiences you fail. For me personally, I learned a very valuable lesson my sophomore year in college, when I decided I really wanted to make a lot of money. I thought money was really going to be important to me. And so I took a summer job unloading trucks and freight cars. And it was refrigerated trucks and refrigerated freight cars. It was the dead of summer, 80, 90 degrees out, and I was wearing an overcoat and gloves because I had to be in that environment, unloading trucks and freight cars for the whole summer. I made a heck of a lot of money, but that led me to believe, hey, I'm never doing that again. I'm never making money my objective. I want to do something that I'm going to enjoy. And I enjoy basketball. I enjoy coaching. And I definitely don't have to wear an overcoat in the gym.
That's great. Thank you.